Today we're going to be going over some affordable designer fragrances that absolutely crush some expensive, overpriced niche fragrances that you hear talked about all the time. And so if you're on a budget, there's nothing to worry about. We're not spending a ton of money today, at least when we're looking at the big picture. Some of these might be around $80, $90, $100 or so. But again, we're putting these up against some big niche scents out there that are going in the range of $200, $300, $400+ And one thing I've learned and kind of noticed after building up a collection of designers and niche is that there is kind of a point of diminishing returns when you start getting up into the niche pricing, especially where as you start spending more and more money, at some point the increase in quality and performance and everything does start to tail off, and you're really just kind of spending more money just because it's a popular brand and it's a limited edition release or whatever it is. You might not actually be getting a better product with that higher price. So something to keep in mind. With designers, it's a little bit less common because there's a pretty significant difference between a $20 scent and a $100 scent, but there are some anomalies, outliers as well. Today we're going to be going over some great, unique, high quality, great performing designer scents that aren't going to break the bank. This first one is Dunhill Icon. So actually we're starting off pretty mild, right around $40. I think sometimes even $35 for this one here. 100 milliliters, heavy bottle, nice presentation, super unique look to it. And the scent itself is also very unique. It has a grape soda type of smell off the opening, fizzy, bubbly, bright, refreshing from kind of this neroli, spicy combination in here. Smells fantastic off the top. I mean, there aren't too many things out there that smell like this. Even when you get into things that are 2, 3, 4 times the cost of this, this is really unique and it stands out in a great way for a low barrier to entry in terms of our price point here. Also has great performance too. It doesn't smell cheap. It doesn't smell overly synthetic or anything like that. Performance is one area that might let some of you down, but keep in mind, it's all based on perspective here. This is a fresh scent at an affordable price. I wouldn't expect this to last for 10, 12 hours, and that's just kind of an unrealistic expectation. But in all fairness, given just the scenario, the circumstances that this one falls into, fresh leaning, affordable, it does decent for itself. 6-hour range. I mean, it's great for a spring day, spring morning, whatever. Not too bad. Can't really complain. Now this next one is a new release, and so because of that it's a little bit more expensive right now, but as it continues to hit discounters and kind of stabilize, it'll start to drop down a little bit. It's Hugo Boss Bottled Elixir, and so again, like I said, new release as of technically now last year, crazy to think, 2023 release, but still pretty new, kind of towards the tail end of the year. I think it was anyway. Somewhere around in there, Q4, I think, beginning of Q4. I can't remember when they put this one out, but I really like it. I think it's probably one of the better releases last year, but also one of the best Hugo Boss bottled flankers that they've ever done. It's got frankincense, patchouli, cedarwood in here. Smells fantastic, smoky, sweet, spicy, a little bit resinous. Oh man, it's so good. Strong, powerful, masculine, confident smelling. This gives off a personality that I felt like some of the other Boss bottles were missing. A lot of those are on the more kind of carefree and you know, casual side in terms of their smell and delivery. This one does have more of a premium, kind of expensive, classy, upscale smell to it. So like I said, right now, a little bit more expensive. Over time, that price is going to drop down and it's going to become a little bit more affordable. Even at this price point that it's at and retail, I still think it's a great buy, but it's really going to be a very competitive scent as the price goes down. Next up, we have Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. So Prada L'Homme Intense, not to be mistaken with that, is a great scent as well. However, Amber Pour Homme Intense is what we're talking about today. It's got patchouli, amber, and lavender. A lot of patchouli. That's basically the name of the game for this one here. So it does give it a little bit more of an older school smell. Kind of same thing with the original Prada Amber Pour Homme, focusing a lot on that. Lavender as well. This one just has a little bit more of a darkness to it and just truly more of an intense smell to it compared to the original. It's kind of the difference there, but not going to be something that everybody's going to be gravitating towards necessarily. But if you do want something with a little bit of more of a throwback feel, a little bit maybe older smelling in one way or another, but still has great quality, great performance, and just overall is something a bit different, check this one out for sure. And we're going to continue that trend with another one that goes in more of a classic style here compared to maybe some new releases that you might be used to smelling. It is Chanel Egoiste. So not Egoiste Platinum, which I do love and am a big fan of and have talked about many times. Can only be room for one without it getting redundant and boring, so I went for the original here just for this video. But like I said, it could go either way. I think Platinum Egoiste or Egoiste Platinum, whichever way you want to call it, is fantastic as well and probably could have a good placement in this video. This one here, it's a 1990 release, has cinnamon, sandalwood, a little bit of tobacco in here, and also just a little bit of rose. That's probably the thing that's going to get some people. If you're sensitive to that note and you don't like it, you'll pick up on it and you'll probably be critical of it and you might not like the scent, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are certain notes that I don't like, and even if I smell that note a little bit, I don't like the scent at all. Like fig, that's one I struggle with. Coconut, I'm kind of iffy on, although some scents I like, others I don't. But there's notes that I kind of feel that way as well. And I know for some people out there, oud and rose are a couple notes that they just don't mess around with. No oud here, but a little bit of rose. It's fresh though, it's a fresher rose. You're getting some of the other woods going on and aromatics like I had mentioned there to balance it out. One that you might want to sample first. But I definitely think this is something that is just a bit exciting and different if you're used to smelling the same old thing. Also, there's only a few hours left if you want to get entered to win a 10 fragrance bundle and or $500 in cash. If you hit the first link down below, you can find out how to get entered there, and you can also see what's included in that bundle. Just to name a few, Stronger With You, absolutely. Dior Homme Parfum, Sauvage Elixir, The One Royal Night, all new in box. Brand new bottles, normally the big size, the 100 mils or whatever, standard size, all of that and more included in that bundle. There's going to be 2 drawings, so 2 chances to win. The first will be for that bundle, the second will be for that $500 cash prize. It's going to end here tonight, so make sure if you're interested to jump in now before it's too late. Encre Noir Sport by Lalique is up next. A nice cheapie here, going back down into the $30 range, somewhere around in there. Vetiver, cypress, and grapefruit. It's fresh, it's woody, very aromatic, and vetiver forward. That's how the whole line is. The original, this, Elie Extreme, they're all focused around vetiver. Not for everybody. And it's more of an earthy vetiver too. Nothing that's super soapy and fresh or anything like that. These are a little bit more intense. They smell more expensive than they are, for sure. That's something that gets people into trouble because they blind buy it, because it's cheap, they didn't do their research, and then they don't like it. So make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. The good news is you're not out a lot of money if you don't like it, but make sure you just kind of think it through before you buy it. These are kind of going in trends here. We got another one that's focused a lot on some like cypress, woods, pine needles, and stuff like that. Stuff smells amazing. Smells great during fall. Bottega Veneta Pour Homme. So yeah, some leather in there, fir, pine, juniper berries. Smells like the outdoors, plain and simple. Pine trees, woods, leaves falling on the ground, chopping some firewood up for winter time. That's what this stuff smells like. It definitely has more of that traditional masculine smell, which is a complete, opposite to what is being put out these days. The sweeter vanilla, tonka, chestnut scents. So this is kind of like a breath of fresh air. When you want a little bit of a reset, something a bit different, I would go for something like this. Next up, we have Cartier Linvol, and this is the Eau de Parfum here. And so if you don't like this bottle, they do offer it in a new bottle, which doesn't have this ridiculous thin glass weird scenario. It's very cool, and you might think that it's super delicate, but this has survived one move so far, and I didn't take any extra care to wrap this guy up. I know, I really didn't. I didn't put it in a box, like its own contained box. I just put it in a box with a bunch of other fragrances, and I'm sure it rattled around and stuff hit it, and it survived. So it's not as delicate as you might think, although I'm sure if you were to just drop it, it would definitely break. So, you know, got to be careful there. This one's got a lot of honey. Very classic scent. Cartier, they do stuff like this very well. They make scents that do have more of a premium, expensive, older school smell to them. It's got iris, gaiac wood, some musk in there as well, along with that honey kind of sweetness. Another one that's not for everybody, and I recommend sampling it first or just being confident in what you like, because this could get you into some trouble. Luckily, it's not as cheap as some others, and so the blind buy, you know, temptation might be less because you're paying a bit more for it and you're going to be a little bit more cautious. But overall, I would say, smelling it again here, just kind of revisiting it, it's not as challenging as you might think. So definitely worth giving it a try if you know what you're into. And how do you find out what you're into? It's by trying a bunch of new fragrances. When I was first starting out, I had zero clue, and it took the better part of probably a couple years for me to really get it dialed in. And even now, I'm still trying new things, discovering new things, and my taste is always changing. So if you don't know what you're into and you're trying to figure out how, just keep smelling stuff, keep trying stuff. That's the only way. La Nuit de l'Homme Le Parfum is one I haven't talked about in a while, but I really like. It's got fruity notes, pepper, and vanilla in here. It smells great. At this point, a few of the other flankers are starting to get discontinued, like La Nuit de l'Homme L'Intense. You still have the EDP, you still have this one, and things like that. But and same thing with L'Homme. They're discontinuing some of those flankers as well. And it's just because they're producing new ones relatively often, right? So they have to purge out the old ones and make room. But this is one that's still around, right around $100 right now. Pretty standard La Nuit de l'Homme price point, maybe a little bit higher than the EDT, but kind of on par with what the flankers generally go for. It smells great. Think of it like a fruity La Nuit de l'Homme, although instead of cardamom as the spice here, you're getting pepper instead, more of a black pepper. And so it kind of just plays on that same warm, spicy DNA, but with a twist. And then you're getting some vanilla here, some vanilla focus instead. So it's just a nice little updated, different version of La Nuit de l'Homme, which does kind of have a classy smell to it. I really like it. We're going to finish this one off with two nostalgic scents. Okay, first one is Dior O Sage Cologne. Not Sauvage, it's O Sage. It's got citron, a ton of bergamot in here, a ton of other citrus as well. I think I said vetiver already, so that, some woods. I can't remember if it was an orange blossom or a grapefruit blossom or something like that. I feel like some sort of variety along those lines. Very bright, definitely kind of like a neroli feel in here as well. And so the original O Sauvage, very much a classy scent, going to have more of an old school smell. This one does smell more updated and more recent. It's still that O Sauvage bottle, and it does have kind of like an old aftershave, like grandpa looking cologne flask look to it, right? Because that's kind of how the original smells to some extent. But they did a good job of bringing a little modern light to this one, which I really like, and that's why I'm featuring it here, because it's like the best of both worlds. Something a bit older school, but with a new modern twist that makes it stand out among all of the other new releases these days, especially, of course, the fresher ones for comparing fresh to fresh like this. So it's great for spring, early summertime, even into the dead of summer as well if you wanted to. It's very bright and just, wow, it smells great. The opening is really good. Definitely a ton of neroli there. One I recommend you check out. It's easy to sleep on. It's easy to forget about and overlook. But man, this one holds up great. And the price is not super unreasonable either. You're looking at sub $100, which for a Dior isn't really too bad. A lot of them are up into the lower to mid 100s and beyond. So not horrible. We're going to end things off with Ter Mes EDT. Another one that has orange, vetiver. I think there's some cedar wood in here, some black pepper, spicy, orangey, woody, premium, expensive, refined, elegant. Smells like you're going to a business meeting and you mean business and you want to be taken seriously. This is it right here. It's a great everyday school scent, great everyday work scent, great office scent if you work in an office. If you don't work in an office, you could still wear it to work. Chances are it's going to work great, but it does have a very serious and confident smell about it. There's nothing playful and bubblegummy sweet about this stuff. definitely could give some niche their run for its money there when we're talking vetiver forward niche and all that stuff. I mean, this one really holds up well. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some great affordable designer scents that completely crush some overpriced niche stuff. So a couple quick things as we wrap up. First of all, if there's anything in here that might be out of stock or rare, discontinued, hard to find, I do have a mailing list and texting list you can jump on to be notified when stuff like that comes up. You know, think Armani Code Absolute, Bulgari Aqua Atlantique. Just off the top of my head, some random discontinued stuff. Along with things like Boss Bottled Elixir coming into stock on discounters. I notify about all of this stuff because they're rare items or rare to be in stock on discounters, like that new Boss Bottled. So I'm always kind of looking out for stuff like that, and if there's ever a chance where you can save money, I'm sending out an email about it. And finally, again, if you want to get entered to win that bundle or $500 cash, hit the first link down below. You can sign up there before it ends tonight. We're going to be running another one of those sometime soon, and so make sure you stay tuned. We're going to keep increasing them, making them better and better each time. So if you didn't get entered this time or you don't win this time, there's going to be another one and it's going to be even better. So make sure you stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.